Hi, I'm Samuel McBride. This is my third video log for the Global Learning Project in TE 150. My partner for the interview, Niket, was the same person that I did the first two activities with, so there's some continuity with his participation in this project. So I interviewed Niket first. Questions about his motivation in school. He's actually not an MSU student. He's a senior at the high school where I came from, and he'll be attending University of Michigan, Ann Arbor in the fall. So I asked him, why did you decide to attend University of Michigan? He said that he wants to go there for the great education. It increases his chances of being successful in his future, and going to a great school maximizes your potential. And I agree. I think it's the same way for me. A lot of the reason that I went to Michigan State is because I just really wanted to be somewhere that's a great school academically. His general learning goals as a college student, he wants to master biology because he thinks that's what he wants to major in at this point. He plans on going to med school after college. He wants to improve his work ethic and techniques to be more successful. And I agree. I think mastering your work ethic and being a lot better of a student is a big part of college, because a lot of people just don't realize what it takes to be successful until they get to college. I think that's personally something I'm learning this year. He thinks intelligence is open. You aren't born one way and stay that way forever. You can learn a lot through your experiences and change a lot. The more effort you put into learning and being bettering yourself can make a huge difference, and I agree as well with that. I think learning is definitely open. He does. I asked him if he wants to excel in school and how important that is to him. He said it's very important because he wants to make it into the best medical school so that he can be the most successful he can possibly be in his future. And obviously, I can relate to that. Everyone wants to be successful. Nobody knows exactly what the future holds as a college student, but definitely maximizing your chances at success is an important thing to do while you're in college. Next, I'm going to move on to the questions about his learning strategies. So first I asked him about his study strategies. He's in high school, so he said he really doesn't have to worry too much about studying, especially for most of his classes. Really just the hard ones. He's got a couple AP classes, AP Chem and AP Calc, I believe he said. He really just goes over his notes. A lot of his teachers allow cheat sheets. And for AP Chem, if he doesn't really know how he's going to do on the test, he'll go on a couple-day long study marathon before the test just to make sure. And I didn't really study to a great extent in high school, but I'm really coming around in college. It sounds like he does a bit more than what I really did, but I definitely could have put in a little bit more work in high school. His strategies for distractions and for limiting them, he utilizes breaks to keep himself motivated. If he notices himself slipping after a while, he'll take a break to eat, surf the web, just chill for a little bit, which is something that I do sometimes if I get a little too wound up with my homework. He said he usually studies on his bed, but admittedly it's not a great location, but he does good in school, so I guess he's not too worried about it. And I used to study on my bed in high school too, which was kind of a problem because it would lead to not the greatest of effort, but now I do all my work at my desk here in my room, so it's a little bit of a better method. I asked him if he finds course materials in high school hard or generally easy. He said he has a really good memory, almost photographic, so he doesn't really have a really hard time with any of the materials, and he usually keeps pretty exceptional grades. And it's not the same for me. I find a lot of material difficult unless I really, get into it and study and force myself to learn. So that's a difference, I'd say, between he and myself. I asked him if he prefers studying and working with others or if he would rather study on his own. He said he prefers working on his own usually because people don't usually provide much help in group projects and stuff. However, if he's working with a friend on like a partner project or something, he doesn't mind that if he can trust the person to also put in the work. And then I asked him, how does he cope with obstacles of learning? current difficulty that he's going through as far as learning. He struggled with calc earlier in the year, but he would go to lunch math study hours for a few weeks, and he started getting the hang of it, and now he's doing extremely well this semester, which is really good to hear that he found help and was able to utilize it. And lastly, I asked him some questions about his cultural experiences. First one I asked him was, are the cultural aspects of University of Michigan less familiar or more familiar to you given your cultural background? And he said it might be more familiar. He foresees it being easier potentially because the campus of University of Michigan is so much more diverse than Canton High School, where he and I went to high school. So he sees more cultural diversity, and he doesn't really foresee lack of diversity as a problem because he gets along with a lot of people regardless of race. He sees colleges being different because, like above, it'll be a lot more diverse. It'll be a new experience for him. He also wants to experience the freedom and grown-upness of being out on your own at school. He doesn't have a problem adjusting to other people of different backgrounds because being someone who's doesn't not as Americanized as someone who was born here, and he still carries aspects of his own culture with him, it's easy for him to understand the cultural differences that make everyone unique and respect those differences. And lastly, I asked him about his plans to study abroad in the future. He said he definitely plans to travel abroad, possibly Europe or Asia. He doesn't really know, though. He hasn't really looked into it too much at this point. I also plan to study abroad for sure. I don't know what country yet or what program, but it's definitely something that I'm looking forward to doing. So that concludes my interview with Niket and my comparison of his answers to how I would respond to the same question. Hopefully I have answered all your questions. Thank you for listening.